very good question. I like it. You're thinking. I respect that. How were those 27 New Testament books put together? It was a long process. 3 tests were used. Was it written by an apostle or by someone who knew an apostle? Apostolic authority was important, one of the 12. Mark knew Peter. Luke knew Paul. And he was like the 13th apostle. So that was the first test. Second test was, did it hold to the Orthodox Christian faith? And the third test was it used around the Mediterranean, around the known world? In other words, this was not a decision by one church in Rome or in Alexandria. So those 3 tests were used. And over a period of 100 to 200 years, those 27 New Testament books were used with such great regularity that it was a no-brainer. These are the 27 New Testament books. The books that were excluded, you got to read them.
I have not, actually, and I would like to. I've just never
Good.
been able to.
Check them out. And what's going to become so exciting for you to see is they are mythologies. They are off-the-wall fantasies. Jesus comes out of the tomb in one of them, sitting on some angel's shoulders, and the cross comes out behind them, and Jesus' head goes up into the clouds. I mean, it is such embroidered language, such fairy tale mythology. It's incredible. Second point. Dan Brown quotes one of those Gospels in the Da Vinci Code as the basis for Mary Magdalene marrying Christ and them having kids. Now, the Gospel that he quotes is the Gospel of Philip, a Gnostic Gospel. The Gnostic Gospels were based on Gnostic philosophy, which taught the physical is evil and the spiritual is good. And obviously, the Old Testament and Jesus taught, no. The physical is not evil. Sex is not dirty. It's a gift from God. Our bodies are gifts from God. The spiritual is also a gift from God. Both are equally important. So those Gnostic Gospels, the Gospel of Philip, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of the Nazarene, those Gnostic Gospels were rejected, not by some Council of Nicaea, the way Dan Brown writes, baloney, but by the worldwide church in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd century that read those Gospels and said, I'm sorry, it contradicts what we know about Christ. So that's the process that took place. Dan Brown is totally wrong when he says Constantine and the Council of Nicaea decided what was going to be in the New Testament. That was not even part of the Council of Nicaea. The issue at the Council of Nicaea was, how do you relate God the Son to God the Father? It was a Trinitarian question. The New Testament canon was not even part of the debate at the Council of Nicaea. That affirmation of the 27 books of the New Testament occurred at the Council of Carthage and the Council of Hippo Regius in North Africa in 393 and 397 AD. So Dan Brown is ripping it off the wall and throwing it. It's just not true, historically.